me just grab my cup of tea, and I'll be right there. I've returned with tea in tow. Oh. Turn off. All that stuff. That. Ooh. Just tweet out. I am streaming live now, talking about Fleet Week sales and ships. HTTP / Twitch.tv/BoredGamer UK. Boom. That's cool. Let's close that. Let's bring this down here. Let's close that. We are live on there. Perfect. Someone sent me money. Selly G. Hey, Bored, do you think CIG are missing a trick by not having real-life sponsors and having their name in-game like Coca-Cola, ginsters, sandwiches, ginsters pasties, mate, etc. We'll talk about that in a second. Thank you very much for the money. I love you. You know? You just literally pay for my love. BoredGamer. Star Citizen. Invictus. 2951. Right. Why do you need to comment my furious typing? My typing isn't that furious, Sin. My whining is furious, though. What's this? No. Get rid of that. What do I want to get rid of that? No, I'll bring that back. Haha. You have to bear with me one more minute. Get off application stuff. Oh, shiz, son. We've made enough money to get Zin and me jackets. Matching jackets from Fleet Week. What should we have as the new donation goal? I like to have people know what they're donating towards any time someone donates anything. Winlord, you've told me about a tax crime. No. We don't need a donation goal today. We'll go without. We're gonna go without. We'll be fine. Sort out for next time. So really all I want is Invictus. Oh, 'cause that's the stuff we're going to be talking about for the most part. Boom. Hi. How's everyone doing? Hope you are well. New donation goal, Zin. What, you want money for Zin? No. You get money. You get money, Zin. I pay you. Paid you today. Sent Zin her wages today. I'm also employed by BoredGamer now. Get a pension and everything. Need to work out whether I want to have medical expenses through the company as well. It's probably a good idea. If you'd like to ask a question during the stream, question in brackets. Today I wanted to mostly talk about Fleet Week. Ship sales, all that sort of stuff, and we can talk about
tricksy little hobbitses.
Oh, why do you give me so much money? Why if people give me New Zealand dollars? I assume that's like money. Red Fox, thank you very much for the donation. Will the Idris M ever be back on sale again? Because we have been getting the P version and the K version, but it's still no match for the M. I think that it's going to not really be on sale again, the M. I think it's much more likely you'll get the P and the K kit, and you even, with the P, you'll be able to convert it into something similar to the M. I think the M is supposed to be a, like the F7A, is supposed to be a military version of the Idris, and as such, not really available to civilians, so very rare. So yeah, I think they're going to be. I think it's very unlikely that they'll bring the M back for purchase. But do you think you'll be able to get them in game in some ways? And obviously some players already have bought them, so there's that. But I would not expect the M to go back on sale again, personally. And if it does, it would be in a very minute amount. What was the other? I got a money thing. Someone gave an anonymous gifter gave anonymous a tier 1 sub. Cool. I don't know what that means. Silly G. So, Bored, do I think... I'm bored. Do you think they've missed a trick by not having real-life sponsors in-game? Yes. Yes, I do. And I think maybe when the game is more complete, that might be a viable idea. They could have AMD, they could have Intel, they could have their own products. They could have Virpil. They could have associated products in the game, but they could also have Coca-Cola and stuff like that. And they could say, you can be in the game, bear some money every month, and also develop a in-law brand. So they'd make high quality in sort of law brands for that product. So you'd have a futuristic version of Coca-Cola for Coca-Cola. AMD could be in the game, but as future AMD. And I really like that idea. I think it would be a huge money earner. I'm fine with CIG monetizing in lots of different ways, as long as that the monetization does not mean that all gameplay takes a backseat. Do you know what I mean? Use it to make a genuinely good game. Or do you think Star Citizen's going to genuinely be good? Yeah, so lots of areas and states and countries are now implementing digital tax sort of things now. So CIG have to start charging tax in areas that previously they didn't have to. Obviously, that's not ideal. You have to spend an extra 20% on getting spaceships. I mean, the ships weren't cheap before. Obviously, we've had it in the UK for quite a while. So the Kraken comes on sale tomorrow. Yes. So the Kraken starts going on sale tomorrow at 4 PM UTC. That's the first wave of Kraken Privateers, and the switchy pack that allow you to change it from the Kraken to the Privateer. Yeah? They go on sale 4 PM UTC, and then 12 AM UTC, there's another wave, and then 8 AM UTC, there's another wave. The 3 waves, selling the Kraken Privateer and that switchy pack. I believe you will have to have a concierge account to see those sales, though. So, and I think all the previous sales have sold out pretty quickly. So sort of bear that in mind. You will be able to buy these things in-game, and it's going to be a while before the Kraken's in-game anyway. Too early for in-game sponsors? Yes, I think it genuinely is too early for in-game sponsors. It's low-hanging fruit for monetization. It's good money. It's good money, and it helps build in-game lore if it's done properly. Do you know what I mean? Like, or at least build in-game immersion, I suppose is what I'm saying. How long before CIG start releasing ship adverts and the NFTs? So it's possible that the MFDs, the multifunction displays, will have a sort of hollow viewer mode. Some of the apps you have in your mobile glass might be ads and news and things like that. So yeah, I can believe that. Tax in Switzerland's 8%. Got 20% here in the UK for VAT, mate. What are you complaining about? When creating a large ship, like the Kraken, etc., would there one day be an AI solution in case you don't have enough friends to fill it out? Yes, so there's 2 AI solutions. There's blades, which allow semi-automation of your ship for certain tasks and stuff like that. So you might not be able to do everything that you want AI crew to do. Or crew to do, and the other thing is you will be able to hire AI crew. And for example, as well, the shops aboard Banner Merchantman and on board, I believe, a privateer are supposed to be run by NPCs. Why don't they address all this rubber band and latency? Every month it gets worse. Server crashing around 50 players. That's not true. It doesn't get worse. Well, at least not in my opinion. But it is obviously a major all and downside of Star Citizen, that the netcode is trash, and there's a lot of rubber banding and desync and crashing and things like that. I'd say that they are working on a big network overhaul, a lot of optimizations for the game, the engine code, server, backend. A lot of this is sort of plowed into the streaming persistence and server meshing, stuff that they are working on now. It's going to be a few quarters before it's finished, but expect big improvements once it is in, even the first stage of server meshing. When do you think AI Blades and crew will be in? So, I think we're going to see AI Blades with some types of AI Blade. I then think we're going to see sort of NPCs accompany us on missions as potential wingmen and sort of like mission helpers. And then after that, a while after, we'll get to NPC crew. That's my expectation. And that will be played out over probably a couple of years. Do you think the Hull A, B, and C will be out by December? So that Hull C, they certainly want to get out, and they've put it on the roadmap for getting out this year. A and B, at the moment, is on the progress tracker. Let's see what happens with them. Any news on the Banner Merchantman? It's being worked on. Being worked on at the moment. Active development. Expect it to... expect to get some love, and we'll probably see more and more of it towards the end of the year. It doesn't look like it's going to be finished by the end of the year, though. It looks like it's going into 2022. But they are working on it soon. Regarding ship sales, what's better? Full rigged or okay. Oh my god, I hate you. The ship sails, not sales. Sales, not sales. Doesn't it depend on the wind and what you're using the ship for? There is no wind in space beyond the wind of your crew. And space wind. Sails, not sales. Yes, so sails. Yeah, not sales. No, they're introducing ship sails, not sales. Clear? Good. Hopefully, Red Fox, one day I will get an Idris M. So, when they had I think it was a Gamescom referral contest, where the second prize was an Idris M. Okay? I engineered... the first prize was a expenses paid trip to Gamescom and stuff like that, but it was, you had to hit a certain amount and be first. Get that. I engineered it so I was second. So when I was reaching, when I got to a certain amount, I sort of stopped using my code and moved it on to someone else's. So that I was second, because I wanted the Idris M. I didn't want to go out of my house. So this Idris M was the second prize. Unfortunately, I was second, but the first person... They didn't get enough going to the all expenses paid trip, so instead they won the Idris M, and I'm not sure what I got. That might have got nothing. Can't remember. But I was like, huh, that's a bit crappy. I was very glad I was not involved in any of the marketing from CIG for that event, because a lot of people were quite grumpy. Anyone can win these prizes. Here's 5 streamers and content creators that have got a huge amount of referrals already. You can vote for them. And it's like, what? This doesn't sound like anyone can win. Sounds like you want these people to win. But not me. Not me. I don't get involved in these marketing things. If I'm going to shill, I'm going to shill under my own terms. Talking of ships, due to price increases in the M2, I managed to save 40 from the M2 to the Orion CCU with buyback, which then allowed me to upgrade the Prospector to the Redeemer through the cheap Ares CCU for $15. already had a Connie to the Redeemer CCU. Why don't you put out more videos how to exploit the system? So I think Noobify used to do that quite often. The thing is that I don't really want to put out videos how to exploit the system beyond you should be aware that the changing prices, and I have talked about this in the past, the changing prices of ships make it so that buying some ships or some CCUs, that then when the ship becomes a lot more valuable, you can then CCU upgrade beyond that and make a huge profit. So I bought, for example, I've bought a huge amount of Banu Merchantman CCUs from, I can't remember what ship, because I want to give them away for giveaways. I've got like 40 of them. So when the Banu Merchantman turns up, turn a load of ships into Banu Merchantman, and like, I think it's the Valkyrie, maybe Valkyrie to Banu Merchantman I had or something like that. So I can grab them for like $200, bam, and then put them out as a price. I mean, I can... One of the other things is if you start making videos like that, CIG will close those loopholes more readily. Probably. No wind in space, I dare you to EVA behind a space whale. Okay. And once that is an available thing, that sounds great. We'll try it. In its wake. Oh. Is the RSI Perseus on the progress tracker? If not, when do you think it will be done? I don't think it is on the progress tracker. However, there is one way I can check by having a look on the progress tracker. So with the progress tracker, it's pretty cool. So I can go to deliverables and I can literally search for... what am I doing? I lost... Is it Perseus? Was it Perseus? It is not currently on the progress tracker, it doesn't look like. No, I didn't think it was. Money kisses baby. Ah, you Jericho. This so weird, but I like it. Thanks. I appreciate the monies. And it's in pounds. Top tier currency, eh? Do you think CIG will use last year's Fleet Week sales to measure success for this year's event? Well, I think internally, yes. And people like me will compare it to whether it's successful or not, eh? So, they've made quite a bit of money so far. Do you think CIG will lose last year's fleet? Yeah. Or do you think the year 2000 will go down as an anomaly for them? I see what you mean. No, they'll have to measure it. They're gonna want to. Their marketing team's pretty developed now. It's one of the reasons they got a load of money from the Calder brothers, wasn't it? And they sort of wanted to develop a marketing team. So people send me more money. Hello and welcome to some more money, citizen. I've enjoyed seeing Ewan's in play during Fleet Week. We will be playing again tomorrow. And we're going to be going around the Drake Day, and we'll probably take out some Drake ships, some Nenor ships, and fly around for a bit. Oh, thanks, Andrew Hickenbottom, for calling me a majestic human. And also, thank you very much for that donation money. What is the best deal to grab during Fleet Week? Depends if there's a particular ship you want. The discounted Avenger Titan package is pretty good because it's got 10 years insurance on as a starter package. Also, some of the daily deals are reasonably good because you can upgrade your starter package, which would have like trash tier insurance on. I say trash tier insurance, I mean it's fine. It doesn't really matter that much. But today's deal of the day from the Anvil Aerospace page is you can get an Anvil Gladiator. Not something I particularly want. Maybe there'll be some cool Drake upgrades. So you, they get discounted war bonds and 10 years insurance, which is pretty cool, pretty useful. But yeah, in a minute, I'll want to go through some of the sales and that sort of stuff and have a bit of chat. What memory frequency and latency do you run for your gaming rig? So I've got some 8-pack RAM with my Ryzen 7 3950X. So I've gone super low latency. So it's running at CAS 14 3600. Yeah, I've got CAS 14 3600 RAM for Zen 3, because looking into the sort of what works really well with the latest Zen stuff is low latency is top dog. Lots of bored whales. Thank you very much, Brewbeard. I love the use of. It's done pretty well with some of these modes. I need to get it to do some more and update some. Patrick, yo! Thank you very much for becoming a BoredGamer member using that join button underneath my videos on YouTube. To become a BoredGamer member, thank you. It really helps support the channel. You're a star. I just pop-counted. Windlord, thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Rock the CAS 14 bar, I know, right? CAS 14 for the win, mate. Well, I mean, lower CAS better, but sort of sweet spot I saw was 3600 CAS 14. Yeah, I was really excited, by the way, in the Inside Star Citizen yesterday. They talked about, well, we in the near future, sort of, we're going to have base gameplay, and that's the reason you're going to want a Nova tank. You want some of these defending your bases. I was like, okay, cool. Reasons to have ground gameplay. You're sort of, sounds like you're working on ground gameplay to some extent, and we sort of know that the work they're doing towards these sort of colonial outpost stuff and the home base stuff is going to be bases, or at least steps towards that. Lots of negative responses to last night's Inside Star Citizen. It was very pretty. It was very cool. But what I would have wanted was some more tangible information about development as well. So if they'd had that, and because they basically just went beauty shots of the Hercules and the Nova tank. I was like, that's cool, but give me a sprint report as well. And then I don't think people would have had problems. It's because we'd heard all of that before, and they were just showing it off, and it was pretty. And it was cool, don't get me wrong, I liked it. But it was a bit of a nothing burger episode. I want development information where possible, as well as the beauty shots. So yeah, my criticism would be try and put some of that more tangible information in there as well. Is Saturday the last day for the event? So, June 1st is when it sort of ends. Yeah, so Sunday is the last Drake day. And then it's the end of, for a few days, it's the sort of end of the expo, where I believe you can still use the kiosks in the Drake Hall to rent all the ships that were previously on sale. And you're still able to, I think, buy the ships until the 1st of June from the website as well. So rent stuff, buy stuff. And then the free flight doesn't end until the 3rd of June. Oh god, there's so many questions. Right, let's power through some of these. Are we going to see a new concept ship soon? Well, obviously, we saw the RSI Scorpius. Could we see something with Drake? I haven't heard any rumours. The current concept ship rumour mill would be that we're probably going to see the Xi'an cargo ship during Alien Week in the next few weeks. Because basically, A couple of weeks after Fleet Week, there's Alien Week, which is sort of like First Contact Week, where they talk about first contact with a Banu, but also very likely to have the Xi'an cargo ship, because we've heard the Gatak manufacturer be talked about as well recently in the Galactopedia, which is like human Xi'an ship that they've been working on. So it makes sort of sense. Expect a medium-sized sort of Xi'an cargo ship. Did a little video on that a couple of days ago. Bear with me 1 second. I am just going to buy a... Let's go to sleep. Vincent is. I'm good. I'm good. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We're good. We're fine. So later tonight, me and Sin and a few of our mates are starting a Conan Exiles Isles of Sipta playthrough. I'll probably record a daily diary of that and put something together for people that are Patreons and channel members. And also, me and Sin are going to start doing a little updates for channel members as well. Probably starting next week. I think that's what I wanted to do them. So little behind the scenes things, talking about what we're going to be doing next. Have people influence what we do. The concept price of the Redeemer for $250 is now quite low. Quite low. Okay, these are ridiculous expensive prices for digital spaceships, some of which don't exist in the game yet. So that's not beat around the bush. It's reasonably priced for a Star Citizen ship. So yeah, I mean, it's most likely going up to like $350 sort of at least, in my opinion, as it gets a bit more developed. I would expect the last time to get the Redeemer at the $250 mark is during Fleet Week. What have we got? Thanks, Mr. Sparrow. Appreciated. Looks like CIG will make considerably less this year during Invictus compared to last. Why do you think that is? Let's wait a little until we see what happens with sales and stuff. I do think they've actually sold less ships, as in the waved ships, so the Idris and the Javelins. They've sold a lot less of them specifically, as in they could have printed more. They could have released more. They sold out within seconds on both. And if they wanted more money, they could have just released twice the amount. So I think it's an interesting thing. I will judge the Fleet Week and its success after Fleet Week. I don't have all the data. I don't have all the money sort of calculated yet. So let's sort of wait. I think that this year's Fleet Week is significantly more successful in terms of gameplay, serviceability, and new player experience. Still not perfect by any means. Let's be realistic about that. But the servers weren't constantly down. It's not just a constant, like, I can't do anything, I can't log on, what the fuck, everything's crashing all the time. But it'll be interesting to compare those figures. Why are you such a good YouTuber putting out great content? We don't deserve you. You literally deserve me. I might not be the hero that you want, but I am the hero that you need. I just put out constant constant Star Citizen videos and content. I don't think I'm the best by any shape or form. I think there's amazing quality content coming out from people like Morphologist, who is Morphologist Senpai to me. But I do appreciate the hustle. Thank you. Appreciate the kind words. Is there a way to get a Kraken Privateer? For sure. Well, you will better buy in-game. F5 War. You could also contact customer service and say, can you sort me out with a Kraken Privateer? They might be able to. Can you use NordVPN to skip VAT taxes in a given country? I wouldn't recommend committing tax fraud. But the other thing is I think that realistically you need an address in another country to set up with. You could get mates to buy them for you and gift them to you. It would be my suggestion. But then don't skip tax. Is another suggestion I can give you. Hashtag hot takes. I don't know. Where would I find out about a fix for dying when stepping off an elevator at the ship show? A fix for it, known issue would probably be the thing. You can look in the support. You can look on the issue council as well. So I think elevators are sometimes mean. Do you think CIG calling these ship cells is misleading, as they are never discounted? Well, they are discounted sometimes. So ship sales being ships on sale, a limited time sale is what they actually sort of mean. But there's discounted packages. There's discounted war bond packages at the moment, very much so with the upgrades, and there is discounted game packages with the Aurora MR game package and the Avenger Titan game package. So. Yay, Jono. Indeed. Why the hangars didn't work yet? Don't know what that means. Hey, bud, what do you think is stopping them from putting the same capitals in game like the Polaris or the Kraken? They just haven't finished them. They take a long time to make them pretty and get them ready. They are like building a entire game level that also has to move around. What will the PU look like a year from now? Hopefully significantly more stable with a load more gameplay and salvage and medical gameplay and more ships, more missions, reasons to use ground vehicles, some of the dynamic economy stuff. Can we expect more news about the Bandit Merchantman during Alien Week? Oh, maybe. I mean, they are working on it. I'd love it if they did. We'll certainly start to see more towards the end of the year, but maybe. In the Invictus hallway, there was an intercom talking about the Anvil producing a capital ship, which could be teasing a new cap ship coming in. Yes, I think that is teasing a new capital ship coming in the future, probably around the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. You can see Star Citizen leaks talking about it. It's not really a leak, is it? It was just a teaser at the Expo Hall. How is the Javelin balanced? It's not yet, really. They have them in the game occasionally for events. It's supposed to be a very powerful, brawling capital ship that can operate by itself. Only realistically needs 6 to 7 players to operate. Totally outstats equivalent number of players in other ships. We'll have to wait and see. They will balance these things, for sure. And it's not going to be invincible, but it's supposed to be very powerful. Can we expect an Aegis capital ship based on the audio saying at the end? Anvil. Anvil, not Aegis, isn't it? Does reputation decay? Or are my eyes deceive me? Reputation is supposed to decay towards 0. When Pyro is added to the game with less areas to refuel, how will this change the game? On that note, has CIG increased the size of the Mercury Star Runner's fuel tanks? So they've specifically said there are going to be some stations that you can refuel at Pyro in, semi-automated or abandoned ones and things like that as well. But they also wanted refueling in so that you could go and rescue people and you can call in sort of Starfarers and stuff to refuel you before at the same time Pyro came in. Don't tell my wife, get a snack. Or don't tell her, get a snack. Or you want me to get a snack. I've lost a reasonable amount of weight. I'm going to be breaking my diet. Well, I've already broken my diet today. I had woke up and went, I'm having a McDonald's breakfast. And then I looked myself in the mirror and went, what are you fucking doing with your life? As I was eating a bacon and egg McMuffin. It was good. It didn't have bacon. I don't know why I just lied to you. It didn't have bacon in it. It was sausage and egg McMuffin. I just lied directly to all your faces. I'm so sorry. Thank you very much, Shakatuna. Jake Corp. Thank you for letting us pick your brain. Talking insurance, can capital ships be destroyed any number of times and always be replaced? No difference. So, as far as I'm aware, with lifetime insurance, yes. But it will only insure the hull of your ship and the default loadout. So, any of the new components or weapons you put on it, not insured. And you say any number of times. If you lose that capital ship, it does have to be replaced in-game. So, the assumption at the moment is, yeah, they'll replace it. Could take 3 months to replace. So there are going to be massive downsides for losing ships. That's just a figure I pulled literally out of my ass. I'm fairly new to Star Citizen. I was wondering if it's worth to upgrade my Avenger Titan to a Cutlass Back or Freelancer. If you want those ships, I love the Avenger Titan as a starting ship, and you can get everything else in game. So I think you're really off to a nice start with Avenger Titan. Maybe just keep that. Buy the rest of the stuff in game. Unless there's a particular reason you're like, yeah, I really want to start with this ship. Will there be any distinguishing factor between ships purchased pre-launch versus in-game post-launch? I don't believe so, beyond some of those who will have lifetime insurance or whatever level of insurance as standard with them. So 6 months insurance or whatever. These come with those special insurance levels. That's why I advise people to get the stuff in-game when they're talking about spending more money on it. I mean, obviously, do what you want. And if you've got a load of spare money and you're like, I love the Mercury Star Runner, buy the Mercury Star Runner. I'm not sure I'd said it like that. Will there be any... that was literally just talked about. It looks like CIG will make considerably... talked about that. Any word on the Jump Point hardcovers? Lure? No. They've not got back to me. I will poke Cameron about it, though. He's one of my friends at CIG. I very rarely... well, I don't think I ever ask him anything to do with CIG, but I do poke him occasionally and go, can you find out if they're going to be doing these again? Or poke someone and ask if they can do them again, because it'd be cool to have them. So sometimes he will give a little poke. It's one of the things I don't like about having friends at CIG is that as soon as they become your friend, you can't really ask them stuff anymore, because it would put them in a difficult position where they go, I can't tell you. If I did tell you, we know where that came from, sort of thing. Hey, Bored, love you and Zin from Canada. You were loving us from Canada? That makes sense. Hardware question. i9 chipset or Threadripper? Depends on your use case. I am very pro Threadripper. Zen 3 is beautiful and fantastic. Think the rumoured longbow, so this is what people think the large anvil capital ship may be, will just be a reason to hold up two fingers. So longbowmen, for people that don't know, longbowmen apparently in the UK used to hold two fingers up because the French used to cut them off when they captured the longbowmen, or after they ransomed them back. So they'd swear at the French, basically, saying, I've got my two longbow fingers. Allegedly. And that was just last week. But what the end insurance can I be for game package with 6 months of insurance upgraded to Warbond Nomad lifetime insurance and then upgraded to Inferno Warbond with 120? You'll get the 120 months insurance. As long as you bought it with the insurance pack thing. How's your health, brother? I've got a pain in my side, okay? But it sort of moves around. It's not constantly, and it's very mild. And basically had 1 billion tests from the doctor, blood tests and pokes and camera up bum and scans and loads of things. And they've just gone, don't really know what it is, probably IBS. So worrying that it's a pain in my side. Doesn't appear to be like sort of doom cancer or anything like that. Still panicked that it might be pancreatic cancer, but they would have found something with blood tests and scans, I suppose. I'm pretty anxious and hypochondriac, though, about my health. So, but I'm pretty happy that I've done all the steps possible. Do you know what I mean? CIG went live with game dev. What we'll do is we'll chat for a little bit longer, and then I'll pass you over to them. I suspect they'll do something it's game dev this time, so it'll be something AI related. Do you think it would be better if CIG cheated some of the gameplay loops in? Oh, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind temporarily. They could do a lot of stuff with missions. And transport vehicles, and sort of like transporting, NPC from A to B. They could certainly do a lot of temp missions and sort of steps towards better missions, for sure. I'm surprised they haven't. You think the Corsair will be getting done for next year? I think it's possible that they're trying to get the Corsair out this year. It's possible. Solar wind is a thing board, okay. But there's no wind in space. Is CIG still on track with Vulkan integration? Yes, they're working on it, but the track has yet to be determined where it's going. So what I mean by that is they haven't said when it's coming out, but we're expecting it this year. Is this game's success going to rely on better and faster internet for everyone in general? No. No. It's going to be more reliant on their tech. I mean, if their tech fails and they can't do what they need to do, then yes, then they'd have to go, well, this game's another 5 years away because we need internets to get better. But I don't think that's a feasible solution. Xi'an Cargo compete size with what? Basically 300 SU, but we all know how things get bigger. Yes, so I agree with you on that. So originally the Xi'an Cargo ship that they were talking about, they wanted it to compete with the Hull B and the Freelancer Max, but I think it will probably be competing more with the Mercury Star Runner, is my expectation there. What do you think of the old kayak concept being in the launch week trailer? I didn't really care about that much. So they had some cool footage. It's the old kayak model. It's all good. Do you really think we need capacitor gameplay? Sounds more like hover mode all over again. Let's see what it's like. I understand what you mean, though. Is it just something that actually adds to the game, or is it sort of like we'll do this. This will make combat better in the midterm. So, are you adding this just for bullshit reasons? Like, is this actually going to be better and add something to the game? Come on. So, Jeff, I think that's a reasonable comment when we won't know until it's in our hands. You're right, noob. Sorry, I'm so far behind in chat. With the Scorpius slotted for 3.17, think the loaner for Uswells will be accessed with the F8. What? I think that will be the loaner in the future. No, I think the Super Hornet's going to be the loaner for the F8 for a good long time. What's your take on the decline of information regarding Squadron 42? I mean, they told us that they were going to decline information on it and basically said, look, you'll get it in the monthly reports, you'll get it on the progress tracker. However, we are waiting for Squadron 42 to be in a state where we know when it's going to be released so we can start the marketing campaign for it. So I understand why they've done it. Sort of. At least that's their reasoning for it. What's the video behind you? Zin put together a load of interesting talking points from various Inside Star citizens and gameplay. How effective do you think the Crusader Ares line will be in combat? So, the Ion, very good support combat and high alpha damage. The Inferno, very good as long as it doesn't have to engage with the light fighters at close range, because it's going to have hard problems keeping up and turning, would be my expectation. But very good support sort of fighters that work very well in other wings of fighters. Because, yeah. Pew pew pew! When do you think the 400i will be announced or released? I think we'll see it later this year. You reckon it's worth the extra $200 to go from the C2 to a Carrack? Just for the med bay? It's not just for the med bay. It's for the med bay, the drones, it's for the multi-role, and it's for the exploration. And I love the Carrack more like the C2. Is it worth $200 extra? No, it's not worth $200 extra. Hi, Great Board. What's the specs of your computer? 4-star citizen. I've got a 5950X Ryzen 7. I've got 32 gigs of CAS 14 3600 RAM. And I've got currently a 2080 Ti, although I have bought a 3080, which 7 months later is still not with me. Did you see the travelling illegal goods dealer on the progress tracker? Yes. It's due out in 3.14. Yes. It's a very underrated feature. We'll know more once it's actually in our hands. Yes, I'm looking forward to travelling purchases. While back, when I didn't know much, I upgraded my starter pack with 3 months insurance to an Orion. Is there any easy way to increase the insurance? No, unless you upgrade the ship package again. It might be worth melting and rebuying a package or contacting customer service. Tonk, indeed, Neve. I hope you're well, sir. We need to catch up at some point before I have missed you. What would you consider a good medium-sized bounty hunting ship? Cutlass Blue. When will escort gameplay loops be added? You can sort of do that now. I would expect probably some more proper escort missions, probably towards the end of the year. Do you think 3.14 is salvageable? Well, it's not having salvage in it. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a load of good stuff in 3.14. It was gutted somewhat, because obviously they moved the medical gameplay and stuff like that out of it. But I do think they'll add some more missions. They've obviously got capacity gameplay in there. They've still got Orison, which is and cloud tech as well for clouds and stuff. So they might add some more things too. As someone shipping cargo, trying to gauge when fireworks will die as a commodity to make money. What? Obviously, you'll need fireworks every time there's a victory event in Star Citizen. If you buy the Redeemer for $200 and then I melt it for something else, can I buy it back for $250? No. It will be at the current price. I believe. Are there any ships you haven't pledged for? Loads. I'm much more into my economic ships. And there's loads of ships and vehicles I miss out on. I just don't. Once the game is live, do you think Jared will do some in-game news or weekly updates? I certainly will be doing that. I think Jared will be doing potentially some of the stuff like that. I mean, this game's still going to be developed. They're still going to be adding new things. Will the Drake Corsair be on sale on Drake Day? I would expect it to be on the website, yes. So the character's on sale, so I would expect the Corsair to be. And Drake can do a little bit different, because they're technically not part of Fleet Week proper. They'd have their own sort of con.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
How 3 months flies stay awesome.
Garniak, thank you very much. I appreciate the sub. I start a tier 2 sub as well. I'm not even sure what that is. It's a load more money. You're a legend. Love you. Mwah. Appreciate it. Should CIG pick the Unreal Engine instead? There are certainly multiplayer benefits to the Unreal Engine. They would have seen a lot of the same problems whatever the engine they picked. They did really. I mean, I would have preferred them, I think, to make their own entirely bespoke engine from the ground up. Progress Tracker shows a lot of work being done on AI gunners. Do you think it's likely that we'll see AI gunner crew for our ships in the near future? Midterm, yes. AI blades being a thing as well. Thoughts on how and when Quanta will be integrated into the verse? You monster! Cooper, you're a monster too. So, I mean, they're sort of working on some of this stuff now, and expect to see some of this stuff for Bounty Hunter V2 and some other gameplay in the near term, sort of slowly phased in. They sort of talked about it. So, probably start to see that towards the end of this year. Just some little bits. Do you know if playing Squadron 42 will have any impact on your Star Citizen character? Yes, it will. So it will give you access to certain things in game. So once you get to certain stages of Squadron 42, you'll get access to military gear. The availability, sort of like the rating to be able to buy it or rent it or whatever in game. Otherwise, access it. Some stuff like the F8 Lightning, some military sort of grade weapons and things like that as well. How much performance can we expect improvements in the near future? So yeah, server meshing, the Gen 12 renderer, Vulkan, there's a huge amount of improvement that the game will eventually get. And so a lot of that stuff's being worked on this year. Will it all get in this year? No. Some of it get in this year? Yes. But I mean, once the game's sort of like much more developed and then polished, the performance will be up significantly. To the point where I'll be able to play in 4K at 60 frames a second and go, Will Scorpius last me a while in game? It could last you the whole of your gaming experience if you wanted to. Still no sale of the Retaliator modules. Yes, so expect them to now be on sale realistically when they're released or thereabouts in 3.15. That's my expectation for that. With all the talk about insurance, as CIG talked about how we can acquire insurance in game in the future. They've talked about previous plans, but I would say we need an update from them. I presume there will be an option to upgrade your insurance for your vehicle's IG from 10 months insurance or 10 years to lifetime? No. And when you're in-game, you'll be able to obviously insure your ship with in-game credits. At the moment, there's some stuff where you can get 10 years insurance on some of your ship upgrades. Fighters in the game at the moment going to be useless when we can get a F8 Lightning. So, the F8 isn't going to be able to do everything perfectly. I mean, it's a heavy fighter, single-seater heavy fighter, very powerful front-facing weaponry. But light fighters behind it, waves of fighters, it might be a super powerful ship for very specific tasks, and it might be great at brawling, but it's not just going to be I win. It might be fodder for vanguards, for example, or missiles and torps and things. Have you ever sung a healing song to your friends? BoredGamer, I hate you. I love you, really. It's a good pun. You're a monster, hag. I only have the Mercury Star Runner now, but the C2 looks really cool. Is it worth the upgrade? I love the Mercury Star Runner as well. I prefer the Mercury Star Runner over the C2. Do you think the Colony Aquila or the Terrapin are worthwhile exploration ships? The Aquila is, for sure. I think the Terrapin's more short-range, dangerous exploration and sort of like scanning and data gathering. I wouldn't use it for long-distance exploration. You think we will get Pyro this year? It's unlikely, but it is, I suppose, possible at the end of the year. Very unlikely. You might see it, like at CitizenCon and stuff like that, though, in a lot more detail. What ships are currently blocked due to needing some of the core tech in place? Like server meshing and iCache. The larger capital ships. They're technically sort of restricted to some degree. Yeti for 3.14. We do know they are working on the Boreal Stalker or the Microtech Yeti. They don't have a confirmation of when it's going to be in game, though. Has your estimated release date changed significantly after watching Tony Z? No. I think 2024, 2025 for a beta is still realistic. Do you mess with your NVIDIA control panel or leave it default? I mess with it. There's a load of settings I've got on, including restricting my frame rate on there. And turning off things like the overdrive settings and things like that. Looking through Star Citizen past events, at Gamescom 2015, the Retaliator does have gravity to turn on and off. Also, zero-G push and pull. Do you think most ships will have gravity switch like that? I'm not sure how they're going to do onboard gravity on ships with internals now. They did say that a gravity generator is going to be a component or part of life support in some ships. And I expect can be turned off. And obviously, once ships lose power, it's supposed to, I suppose, lose gravity in some situations. But they'll have batteries and capacitors. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how they want to do that. Do you think at this point we're still on schedule to get Horizon and the new Cloud Tech this patch? Yes, I think it's a major focus of the patch now. I don't think it will be pushed back. I'm confident that it won't be pushed back. With 3.13 being shallow on content and 3.14 looking similar, we'll have to wait and see what 3.14's got on it. It is shallower than I wanted. I did want medical gameplay in there, for sure. Are Corsair's weapons OP for an Explorer? Don't know until it's in our hands. It could be rebalanced somewhat. Rumoured Anvil capital ship. How feasible is this? It's reasonably feasible. Especially, obviously, the hologram, one of the holograms talks about the Anvil capital ship. Or one of the voice lines talks about the Anvil capital ship. Or an Anvil ship being made at a place where it builds capital ships, typically. I'm trying to figure out the sweet spot between unlocking a ship with Alpha UEC and buying it with dollars. Below 10 million, Alpha UEC seems manageable. It's different for different people, isn't it? I'd get everything in game. Not everything, but you know, get your starter package. Maybe get an Avenger Titan. Maybe get a ship that you love. Get the rest of the stuff in game. Looking through Star Citizen, that's what we talked about. Do you think at this point we're still on schedule? Literally talked about that. Do you think they ever fix the HOTAS throttle being reversed? Yes, I think it'll be an option. What ships are currently blocked? Talked about that. When you buy a ship and get a hangar, will the hangar be of use? So you're supposed to be able to select the locations for the hangars in the future, is what they said, the last thing we heard from it. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose, though. Zero McCarty, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Very much appreciated, sir. What does persistence mean? Does that mean no progress? Wipe before full launch? It depends on what context you're using persistent. There's a persistent sort of database where they're trying to keep your assets and your ships and the stuff that you've made in-game. You've got in-game, you've farmed in-game, bought in-game. They'll try and keep that on your account, but they do sometimes wipe that. When do we think we'll see the Perseus? At least middle next year, but more likely end of next year. With salvage and physical inventory, where do we store all our loots? Will we have some kind of terminal to access said loots? Short and midterm, you're going to be accessing points on your ship, literally to store items like that in there. That's part of the local storage system. So you can transfer items directly from yourself to your ship, to your hangar, to your nearby hab. All as part of local inventory. Avenger Titan worth the upgrade to the Cutlass back. If you want the Cutlass back, I like the Avenger Titan as well. Yes, this game will have more than 60 frames one day. I get more than 60 frames now in 1440p. Sometimes. Should CIG do Twitch drops? Yeah, I was literally getting a Twitch drops for Conan Exiles. I know Conan Arsipta. Before I started streaming. They probably will do Twitch drops for flares and skin and stuff. Maybe in future Citizen Cons. Maybe in future just in general for part of, you know, promotion. Do you think launch issues with Elite Dangerous Odyssey will cause players to try Starsters? Some, yeah. And some people will be like, oh yeah, Elite Dangerous is... The funny thing is that obviously Elite Dangerous was pretty polished and pretty fully working game until they brought out Odyssey. There's obviously a load of problems with Odyssey. So, when will we see AI blades in the PU? They're working on them at the moment. And maybe we can see some derpy AI Blade type stuff towards the end of this year, even if it's just development updates on them. But expect lots of different types of AI Blade eventually, and we're not sure which ones we're getting when. The ability to remove... Will they remove the ability to pledge for ships once the game goes live? Or in beta? So, they'll definitely still be selling game packages up to a certain extent with ships. And I think they'll still be selling ships afterwards. Or at least concept ships afterwards. But they did say that they would be removing other ships from the store when the game goes live. Yeah, that's possible. You are going to then be able to buy UEC instead, though, from CIG. So, Jacob Gilliot, thank you very much for becoming a BoredGamer subby boy. Appreciate it. That's a genius for clicking that join button. Thank you very much, Jacob. You're a star, sir. How do you think ship insurance, medical insurance will change the game? Do you think it will be something like EVE? I think there's a lot they can learn from EVE, and I hope that some of that system is like EVE. Do I think there'll be a real money subscription for Star Citizen? I think there'll be a voluntary subscriptions, but I think the voluntary subscription probably will be you don't get any in-game bonus for that, not tangible in-game bonus, maybe free flare or stuff like that. Will the Titan be modular in the future? Not as far as I'm aware. Avenger. It might be. Aren't you getting bored with these questions? No, I love it. That's me sort of get my finger on the pulse with what's going on in the community. And it's a nice chill stream. Gives me some reflection, some retrospective. Bored, do you think lowering the current server cap while we wait for server meshing and other optimizations would be a good short-term solution for performance? In some situations, yes. It depends if that actually does provide those solutions and the performance stuff. So during some events, like Xenothreat, that did seem to help. Opinion on crime stat players hiding in crime stat zones like Clasher on the outside, and whoever hunts them gets crime stats. It's an interesting idea. Obviously, it's good for them to do that now because they can work out those problems for lore going forward. Do you know what I mean? Did you see the Unreal Engine 5? Would it be better if Star Citizen used that? It's going to be a while before lots of games start using Unreal 5. That's all I say. How much further do you think they will push stealth gameplay? Significantly further. So they're going to have the management of environment, e-war, ships, ship signals, systems management, your scanners, and all of that sort of moving together. Really important as part of the game. When do you think we'll be able to remotely open these hangar doors on the ships like the Carrot? I think once we have ship in vehicle in ship spawning, they will actually probably do that feature at the same time. That's my expectation now. I had a thought about it the other day. Will the Scorpius having a small fuel tank and no cargo be how limit it somehow? It's a heavy fighter. It's supposed to be used short range as part of a carrier. Some of its downsides, eh? Is it worth upgrading my Venture Titan to Cutlass Black? Potentially, if that's what you want. But I think that maybe... I mean, I like the Cutlass Black as well, to be honest. But I think maybe it's might be worth just keeping the Venture Titan, because you're better to get them all in-game. This is not financial advice, indeed. The Squadron 40, will Squadron 42 require subscriptions after episode 1? No. They will be... There's 3 separate Squadron 42 games planned, effectively code-named episode 1, 2, and 3. If you could recommend one ship as a starter ship in any capacity, what would it be? The Avenger Titan. It allows you to do pretty much a little bit of everything. It's reasonably powerful, got good upgrade options, and you can get a little bike or whatever you want in there, technically. But yeah, that's super useful, lets you experience the game, doesn't really lock you out of anything, and then you can go from there. You can make a lot of money with the Avenger Titan. Do I have any idea when the Ares Starfighter might be in game? It's planned for 3.15, isn't it? At the moment. So, between end of September, mid-October. Let me just double check that for you. Make sure I'm not talking at my oos. Ships. Ares Starfighter. Ion and Inferno. 3.15. Q3 release. What kind of surprise do you think CIG has at the end for us at the end of the week? Well, I mean, it's the continuation of the free fly, and you can rent the stuff from the Drake Expo Hall, the ships that were on previous days still. I think they may tease in some capacity the Ninth House lockdown. Yeah, does that seem reasonable? It seems possible at the very least, eh? Do you think Drake will ever have a viable snub? Yeah, one day I expect to see a Drake snub. Yeah? I like the idea of a Drake snub now that you've said that. Right. Except for the price, 315p versus Avenger Titan. I mean, if you want that sort of exploration vibe, 315p might be better for you. I prefer the Avenger Titan in almost every way, though. That's good. I want to let the server feel the. Was it? No, that's more gang. Good day, mate, from Australia. Thank you very much, Aussie Gamer. Very much appreciated, sir. Hope you are doing well. I am going to stop pretty soon. I want to answer any more questions we got. I'll go. I'm going to go bio real quickly again. Then I'll answer any questions quickly. I might talk very briefly about sales again. Chat is demanding pats. We'll answer some questions. We'll have a quick chat. Then I'll post you over to some. I'll post you over. I'll put you in a box and post you over to another streamer. Do you think Star Citizen is getting too big and complicated for new players? Yes, currently, very much so. It was complicated for new players at most stages of development, which is why channels like mine exist, to sort of like cut through that. Very much so, and then do the new players guides and the regular updates. So yeah, I totally agree with you. We need at some point during Star Citizen's development tutorials for basic gameplay mechanics, like we had with Gilly a while ago. Sort of how to play, what to do, what there is available to do, and then each of the main gameplay loops when you go into them. So if you want to do salvage, if you want to do mining, if you want to do medical, there needs to be entry-level missions which teach you how to do that and explain what you can do in the future if you take that loop all the way through. Yeah? And you need that. So Eve does that relatively well, or at least used to do that relatively well. I haven't played Eve for a while. So it's sort of super important that eventually they do have that sort of a level of, you want to get into salvage? Cool. There's some salvage missions. This teaches you how to do salvage. And also, there's some teasers of what you can do with salvage in the far future. Is there any implemented gameplay loop that you can use the terrapin for? So it's supposed to be scanning detection, that sort of stuff. So you'd use it to find, go into dangerous areas and scan down asteroid fields or loot or salvage wrecks, all that sort of stuff. You'd use it to go, oh, I want to get close to this fleet and get a bit of a base or something and get some data on it. Oh, I've been discovered. I can take a beating and get away. That's the sort of idea behind the terrapin. Do you think we'll see bikes this year? No, I think they're gonna have that ground-based overhaul for ground vehicles, and I think we'll see maybe bikes the Ranger like next year. I think that's more viable, personally. Someone asked about the HOTAS. You can change and reverse the settings. I have 2 Verpals and the throttle pad. Email me if you want. jchardy007@gmail.com. I'll get your solution up at some point, Jeff. I'll give you a poke about that if you want me to put it out there more. What else have we got? Do you think there's the plans to make the interiors of ships more customizable? Yes, there certainly is. There's going to be aftermarket customization. There's going to be the use and deployment of flare items. Some ships are going to have a lot more modularity as well. That's very much a thing that's going to be in the game. Do you think we'll have the ability to fully AI a ship? Yes. You can. Some ships will be able to make full use of AI blades for almost everything. Some will be able to have full NPC crews. Or most ships will be able to have full NPC crews. I believe. Squadron 42 being broken up to 3 games. Do you know if it's viable at the pledge store? We'll get us all 3. Just Squadron 42 episode 1. That's all you get. They haven't started working on episode 2 or episode 3. They are their own enclosed AAA games, as far as I'm aware. And they are additional. They're not the game being broken up into 3. They are additional games. Didn't go, we can cut this into 3 blocks. They didn't do that. Will we be able to jump in formation? Yes, you can now. When do you think we'll see Pyro implemented? Middle of next year? I think optimistically. Do you think CIG will surprise us with another release of announced ship during Invictus? I think it's likely that we'll see during Alien Week in a couple of weeks' time, we'll see that Xi'an cargo ship. When do you expect owning land? It looks like they are pushing towards ground gameplay, bases, and some stuff like that in the not too distant future, in a few quarters' time sort of thing. I remember talking to Aaron Roberts about it in 2018, that he was one of the most excited features was land ownership and the law system around that they had planned for the end of 2018 originally, but then they reprioritized it massively. Star Citizen, DLSS, and RTX might make use of those technologies in the future. However, they are going for Vulkan, and they are going to be hardware neutral, so Squadron 42 being a main focus is ridiculous. Not to the extent of that they've got quite a lot of developers. So obviously, Squadron 42 is something they can get out much more readily and earlier than Star Citizen. Although you could argue that Star Citizen does have some form of release now because it is released in alpha. Yeah, some people think it is, some people think it's not. Typically, question in brackets if you want me to answer a question, because otherwise I won't sort of register it in my brain as I go through the chat. Let's assume it's chatting to other people. Do you think they will hold off on adding any more player flow cap ships? I really want the players. I think we'll see more cap ships added. I think we'll see Polaris next year. Do you think the Reclaimer will go up in price once salvaging is implemented? No, I think it will stay. I think it will remain in its current price, probably. Do you think there's new medical ships we've yet to see? Either new medical ships or the ability to have modularity for ships to be have some form of medical gameplay. Should the Reliance, specifically the Tana, get a size increased to size 2 components? I don't know. I'm not really specialist on the tunnel. I'm not a fan of the Reliance, and I'm not a. I don't. Yeah, the tunnel needs something to make it viable, or more viable. If we're getting lava flow and water, when are we getting a steel bucket to carry both? I hate you. Crusader and Battlecruiser caps were part of the stretch goal. Well, battle cruisers were, I think. You think the Tease cap ship will fit one of those rows? I think we'll see them at some point. We'll see that sort of size of ship. Is the full version of Star Citizen going to be fully playable on tech we have today? It should be, yes. It should be fully playable on the computers of today. Xi'an cargo ship. Yeah, Xi'an, so alien cargo ship that we originally saw concepts for 2019 CitizenCon. Expect that during Alien Week. That's the current rumour. That's the current expectation. Which Drake ships do you think will go on sale tomorrow? Pretty much all of them is my expectation. Drake don't have to conform to the rules of Fleet Week either. I need to pick up a couple of Cutlass blues and reds. Some of my mates, because I want to at some point fly around and go Nino, Nino. Have you made a video about the Pegasus? I've done. I'm not sure. I might have mentioned it in a capital ship video. I haven't done one specifically on the Pegasus. I can do an update one. Remember, if you want to grab yourself a Kraken because you're a mad lad, 4 p.m. UTC tomorrow, 12 a.m. and 8 a.m. 3 waves of Kraken Privateer, and the sort of in-between mod package as well will go on sale. So, what's your opinion on the Genesis Starliner? Think it's a cool ship. Love the idea of transport like that. It's my mate Zen's favourite ship. He wants to be an air steward. Do you think exploration will include things like finding rare collectibles, for example, ancient artifacts? I think that will be part of missions. I think that will be some of the salvage and loot you can get. They did talk about rare alien items and weapons potentially being a thing. It makes sense. 4-star Citizen 5950X or 5900X for absolute best performance. I don't actually think it will make much difference. I think the 5900X will be pretty much just as good. In your experience, what is the more important cores, threads, and CPU, or more RAM? Like, I mean, it's a bit of a balancing act, right? It is a balancing act. I mean, you want at least 32 gigs of RAM really at the moment for Star Citizen, in my opinion. And then if you're using a Ryzen 7, you want low latency, good speed RAM if you can, and you don't want to trash CPU. And I know this sounds nuts, but I want to get my family into the game. That does sound nuts. To take them into space would be amazing. I wish this game would cater for my play bridge in space. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Maybe once it's got a bit better sort of multi-crew gameplay, then it will. Any idea when the Aspira Talon will be made available for purchase again? Alien Week, probably. So, a couple of weeks' time. Do you know what time the sale ends on the 1st? No, I don't. Probably 4 p.m. UTC-ish. Although it could technically end on the 2nd at 4 p.m. UTC. You mentioned the Redeemer as massively undervalued at the moment. What other ships do you think are greatly undervalued? Oh, Banning Merchantman, load of the old ships that have still got their old price, things like that. Obviously, CIG have increased their prices of their ships as they become sort of flight ready and things like that, and their new sort of like straight to flyable scheme has allowed them to charge more for ships effectively. Do you think Star Citizen takes their inspiration from Star Wars and other space movies? Yes, and huge amounts of other sci-fi. Huge amounts. And it depends on the team and concept artists and things like that are working at each stage as well. They're obviously hugely influenced by whatever. Kraken or Kraken Privateer? I like the idea of having shops like the Privateer. Not sure I said it like that, but I did. Privateer is my favourite. Should CIG reduce the player number requirements? What server limit? Maybe for certain events, but I want to see that go up. How much do you reckon the Taurus will jump to on release. Currently 150. It might stay there, but more likely to be pushed up to 200. I think some of those ships are going to go a little bit up in price at some point. Might stay there. Right. Love you guys. I'll do these quick questions. Going back to the topic of controllers, I vaguely remember reading somewhere that even though Star Citizen offers a variety of controllers we can use, Star Citizen leans towards throttle and stick towards the flight model. Is that true or false? I think you can use dual stick, you can use keyboard and mouse, you can use HOSAS, whatever control mate. You can use controller, whatever control method you want is fine. They support them all. Can you explain the end goal of persistence? From my understanding, that if someone drops the game on the planet, gun on the planet, it will forever be there until someone picks it up. Not necessarily. So the idea is that you could hide a load of cache of weapons on a planet, and it would stay there for a long period of time. Stuff like that will get cleared up eventually at some point, probably. They can potentially save that data there for years or decades if they wanted to, but some stuff will have like a level of importance. So shrapnel, a casing from a gun, might stay there for a day, so you can track someone. But after that, it will get cleared up. And that's my understanding of it. But persistence will allow you to put a hula doll down on a planet and come back there 3 months later. It's this sort of rough idea. For the players, should CIG reduce the number of player requirements? Oh, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably reasonable. Is it like 10 or something at the moment? Probably doesn't need more than 6. Can I use a Dance Revolution pad? Well, you could. You bloody well could, couldn't you? I think it would be hard. I heard that the Javelin will be the biggest player ownable ship. Is the Bengal not going to be available for players? Purchasable. We know that the Javelin is the largest purchasable ship they've ever sold. Yeah? You are supposed to be able to get Bengals in-game as players as well. That's what they sort of said a while ago. Might have changed, but that's what they said. Why doesn't Star Citizen use adjust throttle and only the stick? What? But you can use whatever method you want. Will operator mode for the missiles could be released soon? It's released for 3.14 end of June patch. How do I buy a Kraken if I'm not a concierge? I don't know. Contact customer service. As far as I'm aware, they're only available. I think they're only available for concierge accounts to see them, even on sale. Pretty rough. Hula dolls confirmed by BoredGamer. Yes. There's going to be hula dolls. Little BoredGamer bobbleheads. Just a potato with legs that just wobbles. Wobbly potato. Wobbly sausage. No. Thank you very much for watching today. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much for all the donations and the love. It is genuinely appreciated. Do you think we'll see Salvage Tier 0 and a Vulture in 3.14? No. So, Salvage looks like it's been pushed back to 3.16 now. Could we see the Vulture at the same time? It is a possibility. But yes, I love you guys loads. I'm going to find someone else that's streaming on Twitch and pass you over there. So someone will probably be watching the Star Citizen live. And I'll pass you over to them. This guy referred to as... I don't know if I'm a follower of this guy. Galathier Games is Space Viking. Give this man some love. Thank you very much for watching today. It is very appreciated. I love you loads. We'll be getting a couple of videos out later today. Sort of like a ship update video with some of the stuff that was inside Star Citizen, but also the Scorpius FAQ and some other bits and bobs. And Zin's got another lore video, which may be out this week, maybe out next week. Depends how I feel. Love you loads, guys. You take care. Peace out. Kisses and all that jazz. Someone's become a BoredGamer member. Crashdown 01. Join just as I'm leaving. I love you, though. Very much appreciated. You take care, guys. And talk soon. We'll be getting the BoredGamer bobbleheads out one day. That's an absolutely great idea for merch.